Hey, welcome back to the Jump-In. We had a little while off over the holiday season, but we're back recording now. I hope you enjoyed some of the content that Kim grabbed with Ultra David and James Chen over the last couple of weeks. That should all be up now, right, Kim?
Yep, part 1, 2, and 3 are up, and right now we are searching for some new content since Street Fighter V is coming out.
If you haven't subscribed already, do we have a URL for the YouTube?
No, not yet, dude. We need at least 500 subscribers in order to get that custom URL.
Can we bribe someone?
Hopefully.
Let's see what we can do. But just search on YouTube for the Jump-In podcast and should be there. So check it out. All our previous stuff. Shady is currently finishing off the last touches on the guide for SF5, so he's not with us this time.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he can come back on the podcast to actually talk about it, because last time we did recording, he was a little bit under wraps on what he could possibly say, you know.
It's pretty NDA'd up. Hopefully he'll come back and enter some tournaments as well. That'd be cool.
It's hard. I can't be too confident about that. He is very adamant about not playing, but being involved in the community somehow. Yeah. He's good though. He's very, very talented. He'll hear this. Don't worry.
So he's talking to Street Fighter V. That's pretty much like what we're going to be talking about today. It's what's on the horizon. It's out in under a month now. As we record this last night, NorCal won the NorCal tournament. Surprisingly enough.
Yeah, I don't know where they get all that practice time in. It's pretty amazing.
I do. It's in a house with a cracked copy of the game.
Oh, okay. Well, since we can talk about it now, yeah. I did overhear. I kind of experienced it a little bit when I was visiting my home state.
Yeah, you were back home over the holidays.
Yeah. Another reason why I couldn't really pump out a lot of footage, but in my free time, I was happy to meet up with everyone there, and I shot a couple things, but most of it was non-FGC related. So I got Ultra Chen stuff, and I got some Jace the Ace stuff. Hopefully that'll go up soon. Yeah.
He's really talented, Jace the Ace.
Yeah, he's borderline kind of excited about the game. He's excited, and he doesn't care. Then he's excited, you know. That's how top players think, so you know.
Yeah. And he's young as well, I guess. So he's got other shit to be thinking about. How's it going for him though? He was studying, right? So what's he doing now? Is he still studying?
I think he has a year left. A year left in school, and then.
Because he looks about 12 years old, but I know he's not. So yeah, I suppose we better talk about Street Fighter V. Really, have you had a chance to play any of the betas?
Officially, yes. I played the beta for about an hour and a half. There was a UBCAN Street Fighter V event after our last recording, and yeah, I don't know what version these betas are. It's all over the place, so I can't even really make statements about the game. You know, I don't feel comfortable doing or saying anything like that. You know,
I think they kind of did that on purpose, because I don't think it was any sort of balancing or anything like that, really.
I mean, I don't think our in terms of balancing, I don't really think our feedback matters that much. I think the beta is mainly about checking the internet connection.
Everything, the system works.
Promotion of the game, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. But obviously,
well, I mean, you're playing the. I don't know what version you're playing, because apparently you don't have Fang yet at the one at the Capcom UK office.
We've got Fang in there, but we're not allowed to play him.
But you have.
No, literally, we're not allowed to play.
Oh, interesting.
Not even off-stream, casual play or whatever. So, so I want to talk a little bit about that as well, because obviously we've had some comments about the fact that Europe has access to the game and stuff. So we do Winner Stays On Tuesday every week, and we rotate who we invite. I think we've done maybe half a dozen, possibly 8 Street Fighter V episodes.
Mm-hmm. I've been watching them.
I'm pretty sure that we haven't had the same person on more than twice. Well, apart from me, but I don't really get a chance to play. I play one set a week. I'm generally hosting and presenting. So for like us, it's not a thing, and it's not a thing of like, oh, we go there every other day and play anyway, because it's a working office. It's like Capcom's actual office. They do stuff in there. We're not just in and out playing wherever we feel like.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not like that.
Obviously, we have the same access to the internet that everyone else has. So there are people here that are playing cracked versions of the game, but it's not really any of the established Street Fighter 4 names that you'd think of. It's more sort of like gaming groups and people across the country. So when you're thinking of like your F words and your Ryan Harts and your Problem X's and your Infectiouses and those guys,
they're not playing at all.
they're not. No, they're not. They don't. They don't have access to it, unless they get a couple of hours on the beta here and there. And I mean, that's the official online beta. Those guys I know are not playing like religiously. There's some guys that are playing like cracked betas for days on end.
Are they like super confident that they know what's good in the game and stuff? Because the NorCal guys, that's basically how they think.
The thing with the UK is most of the guys here are yet like young, quite new to the FGC, so we don't have like that many sort of 30-year-old players that have been playing CVS and MVC2 and
yeah, that makes sense.
That sort of stuff.
Isn't Ryan in like Germany now?
So, yeah, and Ryan's in Germany at the moment as well. So like,
I was initially thinking he'd kind of like be a role model for a lot of the players there, but he ain't there.
He's not been here for like a year, and that really affected his performance in the Pro Tour. He didn't qualify for the finals because he just wasn't at a lot of the ranking events, and the ranking events are really important in terms of racking those points up. So for a lot of our guys here, there's a lot of young people that are playing the game, getting into it, that have a lot of experience with different games, because we've got communities here that are like into like air dashers, Tekken players and that sort of stuff. There's a guy called Inferno Kong who's a Tekken player. He's done really well with Birdie recently. It seems like people are doing really well with Birdie at the moment.
Yeah, I think people they're trying to be like a little bit ignorant towards it. I mean, when I look at the game, I think it's pretty obvious Birdie's good, and it's pretty obvious that what's the official name? Nash or Charlie?
Nash.
Okay, Nash. So it's pretty obvious Nash is really good too. I always, whenever I bring it up, I always hear like lack of anti-air, and there's certain things that he's not good at.
I mean, he's got the knee. The knee's a really good anti-air for Nash. And I mean, a great example. I was watching Snake Eyes play yesterday on day one of the Mad Catz V Cup event, and he was just trying to jump over those sonic booms, and you can't jump Nash's sonic boom unless it's a psychic jump. Like, you can't jump it on reaction. You'll get that sonic scythe anti-air every time for like good damage, sends you back across the screen, and you got to take zoning again. So I think in this game what I've noticed is like no one's obviously overpowered, and it's funny because like when you say Nash, so Nash came out, right? And Nash like had like quite a few combos. He could link his target combos into each other, and he could do the Sonic Boom combo and then cancel into V trigger and land the other side and do the Fierce and get some good damage. And they took that out, right? So everyone was like, "Oh, like Nash, he kind of sucks."
Sure.
The way the game plays, it's like they've taken stuff away from everybody. Like no one's got a lot of stuff, so being able to just solidly zone and just play a very reserved style is pretty good, I think. Like,
yeah. I was watching the tournament as well. That happened yesterday, and
so you got to see that. All right, wicked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's announced that version that they're playing is the final build. Do you know if that's the case? I just know it's a PlayStation build, but I have no idea if it's the real one or not.
Did you ever see Fang on the character select screen?
If I recall, I don't think so. I think there was a...
Did you ever see the character select screen, actually?
Yeah, I think so. Fang's on the bottom right, right?
Yeah.
I think it was just like blanked out or whatever. It wasn't there at all. So I guess it's the last build or whatever you want to say.
Well, I know the game's done now. It's finished. There's final copies of the game floating around. We've like had confirmation that some Japanese players now have copies of the game.
Cheaters. Freaking cheaters, man.
And we've had confirmation, well, not like official confirmation, but I know there's a lot of talk about people in the NorCal area having finished copies of the game as well. Not hacked betas, actually finished copies of the game. Yeah.
Wish I played that one.
That's the talk. That's the talk right now.
Well, just to finish up my thought real quick, what I noticed from the tournament the other day was basically characters that had like things that you're not supposed to have. For example, Chun-Li's crouching jab, or is it crouching short? Whatever. Crouching jab, standing strong.
Oh, yeah, link combo.
Yeah, and Karen has the same thing. So, I mean, they're basically combos off lights, right? Which are highly, like, discouraged in this game, or something like that. I know actually a lot of characters have them, but they're not like Street Fighter 4 hit confirms, you kind of just have to, like, go into them, Yeah.
Confirmable combos off spammable fast normals, I guess we'd say.
Yeah.
Because Combo Fiend said over and over again, like, he wants to get away from that, like, let me just press jab until it hits and then go into a medium, into a special move, and then FADC it for more damage. Like, they wanted to get away from that, so...
Yeah, so Chun-Li and Karen have that, however. Because, I mean, it's not that no one can combo off lights. It's that their lights lead to mediums or heavies, or mediums that go to heavies that reach pretty far. Therefore, mashing light at a pretty far distance results in some decent damage. It's not that much damage, to be fair, but it's still something that some characters can't do. Yeah.
It's significant, compared to other characters, and that's what I think you're going to see. Like, if you're looking at stuff against Street Fighter 4 tools, it's obviously a very different game. But if you're looking at it against the tools of everyone else in Street Fighter 5, we're noticing that characters that have got command grabs are really good, because the throw ranges are terrible in this game. Like, tiny throw ranges.
I kind of figured, like, in my time with the fake version of the game, I figured out a couple things about throw range.
Please, enlighten. Or he's saving it for the first major.
Yeah, I'm just throw everyone all day. They can't do anything about it. Just get counter hit. Okay, so for example, certain light attacks, when you go for a throw. So let's say, I know this for a fact. With Ryu, if you do crouching jab and then you let go of the joystick and you press throw, the throw won't connect. So then, therefore, you have to walk up to throw. Therefore, you're killing frames in order to be offensive, right? That's not cool. So the thing that I found out was actually, after stand light kick with Ryu, you don't have to walk forward at all. You just press throw immediately afterwards, and you could throw him. And I thought maybe this was by design, like giving, like, for example, stand light kick is like super negative on block or something. From my tests, that wasn't actually what occurred. And with Bison as well, since he has slow walk speed, this is probably by design though. Slow walk speed, so almost all his light attacks, like, I didn't have to walk up to throw them. So, like, the thing that doesn't really exist in this game is like safe pressure. So, for example, if I do like crouching short, and let's say I can throw without walking forward, so then the mix-up would be crouching short, walk back, low forward, Inferno, or something like that, right? With Bison. With Bison. Yeah. So then, I mean, that is pretty safe. It would be pretty safe in other games, despite the fact that Inferno and every special that Bison has is negative. But based on that, I kind of developed like a pretty cheap for Street Fighter 5, a pretty cheap tactic. And I think most characters can already do that. So therefore, like, I think people, when they learn how the game works, throwing will happen more, because right now everyone is afraid that they're walking up too much, and then therefore they're gonna get a combo happen to them, or they'll get like a counter hit combo or something like that.
It's a scary thing.
But this is just the beta, right? So we don't know.
It's kind of scary to throw as well when you're eating those frames of advantage, like you said, because you get counter hit on throw startup. So, which is pretty cool. It's an interesting mechanic. It kind of allows you to get a sort of similar frame trap situation that you get from people mashing crouch tech.
Yeah, actually, I mean, how do you feel about it? Because I like what they're doing to stop like the robotic like mindless things that people do in other games, I think it's a good decision. That's probably one of my favorite things about Street Fighter Five at the moment. You miss a DP, you're gonna pay for it. Therefore, a lot of the tournament footage we've seen lately, a lot of people are not doing DPs.
Mm.
More footsie based, more about pressure. People
You haven't really got that much of a reason to DP though, like because you've got V reversals. If you're getting like crazy pressured, and it starts to become like a predictable pattern, then you can V reversal. You've got variable wake ups as well. So if you do the back flick wake up, you kind of like negate setups as well.
Yeah.
So it's nowhere near the same as it was in SF4, where like you just have to block and then take the mix up afterwards. You get knocked down, you get a safe jump set up, and then you have to block. Like I'm playing against you, you're using Ken. I'm going to jump on your head so you can't DP. You got to block. You got the then take whether I'm going to tick throw you, I'm going to frame trap you, like whatever. So then you got a DP then.
Yeah.
Because you can't really do anything else. Well, you can focus backdash or that backdash out or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, Street Fighter 4 had so many options, right? So many options that are relatively like the attacker has to be really on point. The defensive guy can take a little bit. He can be a lot more like random. He can guess a lot more on his part.
It's a lot easier to lock people down after a knockdown on Street Fighter 4 than it is in Street Fighter 5, and that is by design as well.
Yes.
But it's also why I think it's weird though, because like it's a footsies game. That's what they want. Right? They want you to play like real footsies and do frame traps and shit. A lot of the normals have got really like short ranges though, and a lot of the far-ranging normals are slow as hell, like really slow. So it's a weird thing to get used to. Like,
you know what the exceptions are?
What's that?
And like let's say Birdie's stand, I guess it's medium kick. It has to be medium kick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is it a coincidence that he won yesterday's tournament, or that he won the UBCAN Street Fighter 5 tournament? I mean,
I think Birdie's like really easy to just pick up and use.
He definitely seems lazy, like damaging and lazy, I would say. Don't know what his true tier ranking would be, but it's not even the real game's not out yet. So
yeah,
so
I mean, there's characters that are clearly easier to pick up than others. Like I'm finding Ken really difficult to pick up. I want to go and see what Julio's doing with him.
What are you so adamant about using Ken? Is it like I
don't know,
a skin tone thing?
No, I use Dudley in Street Fighter 4, so no. I don't know. Like, I just take to character designs. I've got like it's nothing to do with whether the character's good or not. I'm probably gonna just random select. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, with Street Fighter, I never really had the opportunity to put those hours in. But in terms of like the theory and stuff, yeah, like you can do that. But with the actual implementing, because that's the really cool thing. Like I like about fighting games. For me, that they are as close to actual combat sports as you can get, in that you have to put hours of drills in to get good. Like you have to actually train really hard to be good at these things. The same way that you have to train really hard to be good at jiu-jitsu or kickboxing, boxing, whatever your discipline is. Like the only difference is you're not putting your body on the line to get hurt or tired or what have you. But other than that, it's really similar, and I like that. The people that are really good at this game deserve to be really good at this game in the long run, anyway.
Yeah, I've always made comparisons between the two, and then the big obvious flaw in the comparison would be that no one gets physically hurt, of course, but the training process is quite similar. Even the whole like you have to find different training partners is also almost directly correlated.
Sparring, exactly that. Yeah. And stylistic matchups, wrestlers against kickboxers and all that stuff, and yeah, so it's cool.
Zangief tells him, Bison Guile, Dudley who?
Dudley against anyone with a good low forward.
Give me a character, man.
Who does Dudley lose to?
How come I don't know this? Hold on. I have to really think about this. I haven't touched that game in a long time, man.
Dudley's a weird one, man. Dudley's a weird one. Yang.
But he could always
Dudley
win.
gets bodied by Yang. There you go.
What? Yang?
Mm-hmm.
But Yang has to do damage up close. Dudley can just, fucking press some buttons.
No, because
I'm just talking about my ass. I really don't know.
His buttons will whiff, and then you get hit by more Yang Mantis slashes and die. So it's hard work.
It's like a momentum thing.
And Vega as well. Vega's hard work. But again, like with those characters, you hit them twice and they evaporate. So Dudley. That's why I like Dudley. Dudley's fun. Just pushing buttons.
Pressing buttons because you don't practice that much.
I just like pressing buttons. It's fun. Let's get back to Street Fighter 5 anyway. So obviously, we've been on Twitter this morning, and Justin was pretty disappointed by players that have had early access to the game entering tournaments and winning tournaments.
Ooh, please show me this tweet, or just give me a rundown of what he said then.
But yeah, it'll be on his timeline, so go and grab that. J Wong with 3 G's. Justin Wong. He said...
He must hate that, by the way. He fucking must hate that shit. Okay, was that a recent tweet? Must be. Let's see here.
About like 4 or 5 hours ago. So that's...
Not gonna lie, Mad Catz controllers, ban the pirates. Down, more?
Of course, the Instagram brothers are in the finals for Mad Catz SF5 Open Tourney. He's referring to, of course, LPN and Grand Wolf.
You mean they took down the Instagram like John Jones, huh? Fucking passive-aggressive shit right there.
Yeah, he seemed pretty...
Sounds like an Asian parent.
Frustrated.
Well... Wait, okay, well, I mean, what do you think? Do you honestly think Justin doesn't have any, cracked beta copies lying around his house mysteriously,
I guess he's been pretty adamant that he hasn't been playing the game. This instance.
The age-old argument of Japan gets the game first, or they're so fortunate that they have that arcades are still thriving in Japan. It
does make a difference. It does make a difference, and I think one of the reasons why everyone's getting so worked up about people having early access to the game is the Pro Tour. Because if it was just, you're good for the first 3 months, and then we're all going to catch up, and we're all going to go to Evo in July, and we're all heading for that, then that would be fine because it would probably balance out, I guess, over time. But final round is around the corner.
In March.
Yeah, March? So people are going to be going to final round that have been playing Street Fighter 5 every day for 3 or 4 months, and there's a guaranteed Premier qualification spot there for the Pro Tour finals. So it's an issue for people, I guess. Now we know that Japanese pro players have got final copies of the game as well.
That's a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact. Finished disc copies of the game. So even I think Markman. Someone said Markman came on stream and confirmed that Daigo was playing the game now. So I read that. So I didn't hear that myself, but I read that.
I mean, okay, yes, especially in the hands. Okay, well, maybe pro players are the exception, but that doesn't really matter in this argument. But it's a generalization that let's say for example, Japanese got Street Fighter 4 a couple months beforehand. If that's the case, and let's use that as an example. I mean, are we saying that they don't have skills or something just because they have the game earlier? You're gonna catch up.
I think the issue is
this might just affect the Pro Tour. This is a unique situation because the Pro Tour exists now, right?
So that's why it's actually an issue. If it wasn't for the Pro Tour, everyone would be whatever, it would be fun to sort of see these guys then become the heels of the FGC, and they've got targets on them. So everyone in NorCal that we know has been playing the game early. We just get hyped to see them losing tournaments, and it becomes fun, and it's a bit of drama for the FGC, and it adds to that sort of the human interest side of combat sports, where you build a story up, and you're okay, well, we want to see these guys lose because we know they've had an unfair advantage. Whereas now it actually makes a difference in terms of money and qualifying for the finals and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, well, that's not fun. Like, it's not a fun thing. It's an unfair thing. A lot of the pro players feel that way. So,
like if the beta was, I mean, I have no confirmation because I've never played the final version of the game, but I think it's safe to assume that there's no way that they're gonna like change the system overall. So the advantage that they definitely do have is that they have more time to get used to how the game works, which is a big part of just figuring out how to play a game in the first place.
exactly.
I can't just go into like, let's say, Second Impact, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact. I've never played the game before. I have to learn how the game works. But now a good number of people have that advantage, you would say. So I mean, it's a new thing that we have to deal with in this generation of games, fighting games.
Yeah, it is definitely, and like the whole thing of like, oh, it's a new game and like everyone's going to get reset and we're back, and it's kind of like wiped that out. That sense of.
Or are you saying that's kind of gone now?
I think so. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I think that was one of the big things that we had where it didn't get an arcade release. It's like, oh, great. So we're going to see now how good we are actually against the Japanese and Asian players, because they're not going to have the game for 6 months to a year before we ever see it at all, apart from maybe like 2 arcade cabinets like you have with Tekken situation, or with Guilty Gear, for example. Those games that the Asian players get such a lead in on. And they did really get a lead on Street Fighter 4 because you guys had that in the arcade for a long while before we saw it in large numbers. Like, yeah, there were arcade machines scattered around, but arcades are definitely not what they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. So the number of people that had access to arcades is much lower.
I mean, like, I can't really say that. Now that I really think about it, this generation has like a unique situation because I remember when Civis 2 came out, the arcade release and the Dreamcast release, especially the. Did you ever play? Oh, no, okay, you played Street Fighter 4 as your first game. That's right. They had you had to use this like weird technique to get a copied version of the game, and you'd have to like stick a bunch of shit inside the Dreamcast in order to get it to work. But if you were able to do that, if you had the skills at that time, because there was no like YouTube or anything.
Oh, I had like copied Dreamcast games, yeah.
Yeah. But this is like even before that. This is like before the game was okay. That's what I'm thinking of. The game came out first in Japan, Japan's Dreamcast. So the guys that had the advantage in the American scene were the guys that were able to get copies of that and play those copies on the American Dreamcast. Yeah. So I mean, there's always people that are going to have advantage. Is kind of what my point is,
Yeah, I mean, that it's a fact that advantage erodes over time. Early access is, only makes so much difference, depending on how much time, depending on the quality of your community and who you're playing with, and all that crap, and the amount of time that you play the game as well. Because if someone has the game early and they're playing 3 hours a day, but you're playing 8 hours a day, eventually you'll sort of catch up, right?
Yeah.
But as I said, I'm going back to the original point. It makes a difference in this situation because there's early tournaments that give guaranteed spots to the final where you're going to play for $120,000. And I'm sure a number of people that are trying to do this as a career, that's going to piss them off. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit that I didn't really think of it. I didn't really think about, let's say, the NorCal situation. I didn't really think of that in terms of cheating until you kind of brought it up, and then it's kind of no surprise if you really put things together that they won yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I also know that they have more stuff.
I should damn well hope that they like, if they didn't win yesterday, that would have been seriously embarrassing. Like, imagine you play the game for 2 months every day and you go to a tournament and you don't win, and you're playing people that have hardly had any time with the game. So that would be embarrassing, man. That would be very, very embarrassing. And that's what people want to see. I'm not going to lie. Like, I want to see the first person like blowing up these guys that have been playing the games for months. For me, that's interesting. That's exciting. You know, I'm a wrestling fan, so I like that. I like that heel and face shit. You know, it's fun. It's fun for me, and I'm sure a lot of people tuning in will want to see these players lose because they will feel a way about the fact that they've had an unfair advantage.
I just can't wait. Like if they ever get interviewed, and then and then they bring up the whole fucking LoganSama is there sitting in the UK drinking his tea and everything, thinking he's all high and mighty, talking shit about us, molding the public's opinion on us. I can't wait for that interview.
That's just my opinion. Like I'm excited to see them lose. That's all. You know, I'm excited the same way that I get excited to see like Japanese players lose. It's exciting for me. You know, I want to see the people that are at the top, you know, get involved in some sort of conflict and have to, like, we all want to see Ronda Rousey lose. That was the most hype shit ever, right? Oh my god, Ronda Rousey's lost. Like, what's she gonna do now?
It certainly seemed like the world was rejoicing at that time, huh? As wrong as it was,
I wasn't rejoicing because she lost. It was like, oh my god, what the fuck just happened? And then it's like, okay, I want to see how she's gonna handle that. Like, is she legit? Like, everyone loses. Everyone loses. Whether they can come back from that loss is another thing. So, like, if the first time that LPN or Graham Wolf lose in the tournament, like, yeah, there'll be like everyone making remarks, you know, our Kappa's going to explode, Twitter will get hype and whatever. That's to be expected because they're the guys at the top right now. You can't argue that. Like, at the top of a game that's not even out, which is a fucking insane thing to say. But, you know, they won the only tournament that exists so far.
I can't wait for this video to be released.
But seeing how they do after the first time they lose is like the rubber stamp, you know. Like, we know Graham Wolf is an excellent player of Street Fighter games. You know, Street Fighter 2, you know, if you learn how to play Boxer in ST, you've watched Graham Wolf videos, right? Like, you must have done.
Mm-hmm. He had like a lot of main characters, so I don't even know what his main character was anymore. It's been too long, man.
I'm just throwing an example out there, but like, so he's good. It's not like he's a fraud. He's a good player. You know, you can't argue that he's not a good player. LPN's been a talented player in his local community. He hasn't really transferred that to a bigger stage yet. You know, he went to the was it South by Southwest?
Yeah, the Texas tournament, right?
Didn't work out that great for him. So it's exciting to see whether this is going to be his moment. Is this going to be his moment? Is he going to step up and become a great player? Is he going to become a force on the national and international scene with Street Fighter V? Or is it because he had early access to the game? Like, they're the questions that people want to know. Like, whether they're going to vocalize them or not, I don't mind saying it because it's the truth. You know, we want to see if you're legit or are you a fraud? Like, are you only winning because people don't know what the fuck's going on? Like, do they not know the matchup? Or are you winning because, you know, you're legit? And hopefully these guys will show themselves to be legit, because I love seeing new names back, you know, whether that's Graham Wolf returning or LPN stepping up. You know, we always see players step up, you know, like there was a time when Martin was the only Dudley in the world that people knew about, and now there's this guy called Smug who's kind of good with the character as well.
Yeah, he's all right.
You know, stepping up, one steps up and takes these spots, and that's the cool thing about it, you know. Again, going back to the combat sports thing, you like seeing new names causing a stir on the scene. You know, Conor McGregor comes through, causes a big stir, everyone's excited, it gets everyone interested again, you know. So it's good. I like this. It's human drama, man. Like, it goes beyond what's just happening on the screen. You know, when you have stories that go beyond what's just happening on the screen, I think it adds to the viewer count, it adds to the interest. People want that shit. You know, it becomes a show rather than just a game.
Well, okay, so I mean, I absolutely fucking agree with everything that you just said. But the thing that I am thinking about right now is actually, I wish there was just more people that were like you, who were able to, like, because when we talk about players, or when you see most people talk about players, it's usually in either like a very like PC way, or they're either like talking shit, like blatantly talking shit, right? But even people that talk shit are not articulate enough. For the most, I mean, I'm generalizing, but I think it's in the FGC. I think it's kind of true. You know, like, you pretty much built a storyline right now. The people that will watch this when it eventually goes online, they will at least think, oh, maybe I rooted for this guy, but maybe not. Then it was all kind of thanks to how you worded the players. But you weren't too disrespectful to them. You just put out, what you were thinking and stuff like that. And I want that to happen with like a lot of other players, because when you think of NorCal, NorCal has a pretty decent community, right?
I mean,
And
they've
now,
got multiple Evo winners there in NorCal.
yeah, and now, okay, let's say let's say people start hating LPN, okay, thanks to you, okay. I mean, whatever. I mean, at least people will pay more attention to LPN, which is something that I totally support. And now they have, let's say they have fucking Huda Man and that Vega guy who I can't think fucking L something. What's his name?
Oh,
Whatever.
Cubana Loco.
Yeah. Let's create more storylines for these guys. Like let's just start talking shit about them. How about that? Let's do it right now.
No. No.
Yeah, but anyway,
I'm not here to talk shit. I'm just laying down how I see it.
I'm not saying that.
And I'm not, I don't profess myself to be like some like omnipotent sort of authority on what's going on. Like, I'm just literally just like saying it how I see it. I think it's good that
I like it, man. Just
you
keep
can
doing
spin
it.
You can spin, like, it's good
Most
to be able
of
to
your
spin these things. Most of my hate, yeah. I'm definitely not a hater, man. I don't come to the fighting game community for any of that bullshit. Like, this is a hobby for me, and I enjoy it. Like, this is what I do for fun. This is always what I do for fun. I have a job. I deal with politics in my job every day. I deal with egos of musicians and all the crap that goes with that and whatever. And like, for me to come to the FGC, I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is fun. Like, yeah, like, he's good. He's winning. That's cool. If you don't like it, go and beat him then. Like, it's like a real fucking meritocracy. I love it because, like, you can talk all the shit in the world. You can have, like, you can be someone's friend. You can have all of the inside contacts and links and whatever. But at the end of the day, all that matters is what happens when you two sit down at that machine and play your first or whatever set that you're playing, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, And I think that's fucking awesome. I love that.
Mighty Mouse did a Twitch interview.
Streaming, right?
Yeah, stream. And so I don't know. I mean, just luckily he like picked up my comment or something, because usually, like, if I was fucking part of his channel, I'd pick up the comments who are subscribing to me, right? Yeah, at least that's the easiest to see. And he picked up my comment and he said like,
what was your comment?
Hold on, let's see here. Okay, my comment was about fighting games because he does the fucking Wesker pose and he references Street Fighter like sometimes. Like, it's not uncommon.
He was streaming Mortal Kombat the other day, right?
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
He was streaming Dark Souls. I think
he was streaming Mortal Kombat the other day, for a fact.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, So he knows about fighting games, and but he plays other games as well. So I was saying like, oh, you do the Wesker pose and whatever, like, Street Fighter 5's coming out, blah blah blah, and he said that he stays away from the fighting game community. Like, he doesn't really care to pay attention to it because there's too much shit talking, which fits his personality, right? Because he doesn't talk shit at all, and he puts it out there too. He says that he's just a martial artist. He doesn't want to say any of that kind of stuff, And I thought like, well, first of all, I thought like, oh, it's kind of a waste because at the same time, I want people. I don't mind if people talk shit. Like, I'm not saying like don't be yourself at all. If you want to talk shit, talk shit. But if I just want people to talk shit and do it articulately, just don't just start cussing a lot. Just maybe be like Conor McGregor, because I mean, Conor McGregor. Let's not be an idiot, okay? He plans out what he says. He's just so good on the mic that he can play it off. Chael Sonnen was a little bit too obvious. Like, he ripped off like pro wrestler like lines and stuff like that too. And all you have to do is, type in the line that he said, and you can find a professional wrestler related to that. But if everyone can just kind of play it up a little bit more, I think that, fucking maybe Mighty Mouse would love the FGC a little bit more. Maybe he'd be at Evo next to Jamie Lee Curtis. First round. Yeah.
I think, Yeah, it just all adds to like rivalries are good. We like rivalries. Okay,
I love it.
we like rivalries.
I want you versus LPN first round next official fucking Capcom tournament.
I'll get bodied free. So
no, come on, believe in yourself, please, please.
No,
I'll be behind you. It's all good. I'll be behind you.
Doesn't matter. I can have everyone behind me. I'll get bodied free because LPN is a good player. He's a good player, and I'm not a good player. But I'm talking. I talk from the standpoint of like, there doesn't mean I can do it though. So I'm like, I don't know. That'd be like throwing Mark Goldberg into the ring with someone. You know, like that's not going to end well, is it? Really?
I'm just saying. I've seen you play. You're not that bad. You know, you can take off. You can upset some players for sure. And I want to see it. That's all I'm trying to say. If you don't believe in yourself, I believe in you. I believe in you.
It's very kind of you. But I'm more than happy to commentate and do like critical analysis. I'm happy with that. Alex Myers on Twitter said that he spoke to Tokido at the Mad Cats V Cup event and said, "What do you think of Street Fighter V?" And Tokido allegedly responded that everyone in Japan, the top players in Japan, are going to play Street Fighter V for a year and then probably go back to Street Fighter 4. What do you think about that statement?
At first, I can only assume that top players to him means Topanga. I'm guessing that's the general opinion that he's getting, because pretty sure he's not walking around Japan asking every single player that.
No.
But you know, I do kind of share the same, not the same exact opinion. I do believe a lot of it is motivated by money in the Capcom Pro Tour. Because if that wasn't there, I would see a lot of people going back to Street Fighter 4. But that's not the real world. The real world is it's a lot of money in Capcom Pro Tour. So for that 1 year, the reason he said 1 year is because Capcom Cup is in 1 year. So I think that's where that number comes from. But you know, if it's a good game, it doesn't really. That just means that Topanga or Tokido and his friends think the game is not that good.
Well, what about your friends? What's Ubican's thoughts? Because you had the SF5 event, didn't you?
Yeah. So none of them have the cracked version. So I don't even think they're aware that it's possible, to be honest. But Dashio really likes the game. He got third at the Ubican tournament at the Street Fighter 5 one.
Who's he using?
He's using Ryu, but he's using Ryu by default because Ryu, you know, fundamentals and
Street
stuff like
Fighter,
that. Yeah. And you know, he's a good player, so he made it work. And then he lost to Birdie, which is like totally Street Fighter 5 based, right? Like if you don't have experience, you don't. And I know Hagijin has been putting in a decent amount of time. That one Ultra Street Fighter 4 major that happened a couple months ago, the one that Nemo won, Hagijin actually spent a lot of time just playing Street Fighter 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's really into it.
Yeah, that tournament was brutal. Just everyone just went out early, so they either just left the venue or they played Street Fighter 5. So yeah. But the other UBCAN members, Shin says, I'll see how I feel about it. So he's not too hype about it. Kichi-Ken likes the game. He plays Ken also, by the way, but he likes the game, but he doesn't really have an opinion. The only person that really has a strong opinion is Dashio. Everybody else is like, when it comes out, we'll see how we like it. But that's not a good or bad thing. That's a logical, you know, rationale, right? Like,
I think that's a really healthy way to look at it. You know, not many people have had a chance to play the final game as it is. I know people have concerns. I've got concerns, to be honest with you. Like, I want to know.
Tell me your concerns.
It feels quite limited in terms of expression. Like, there's not a lot of players thrive on like finding tech and doing stuff that other people can't do, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of that in Street Fighter 5. I can't imagine, like, there's not crazy timings for combos. There's not a ton of juggle points, so you don't have like third strike S juggles in the corner. There's not like super difficult super cancels like you have in other games.
But I mean, let's just be honest. Like, yeah, like if you are a below average Street Fighter 4 player, you can do most of the execution heavy things. In
Yeah, so that's my issue. My other issue is where's the hype going to come from? Because seeing someone land a super is not like crazy hype. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, when Street Fighter 4 came out, it was kind of bland as well, and what have you." But the way people approach fighting games since Street Fighter 4 came out is drastically different to before.
Totally different, yeah.
You know, we live in an age of internet, YouTube. It's like a big hive mind. So, like, within 5 hours of people getting their hands on something, you know what works and what doesn't work. You know, like people have B&Bs, they know what links into what and stuff. And with Street Fighter 4, when it first came out, it was all about discovering that, oh, what this, and we can do this. And now it's like, oh, try this. Then someone in the other in another country's trying it at the same time, and you know, it's like everyone's all working together. It's literally like a cloud of experimentation. So everything gets found really, really quickly now.
Well, like I think as much as you can't approach being successful in Street Fighter 5 by playing in a Street Fighter 4 kind of way.
Exactly, and that's by design as well, right?
Yeah. But the thing that does apply though is the steps that we took towards learning tech in Street Fighter 4, of course, applies to Street Fighter 5. Because I mean, we're not talking about winning anymore. We're talking about just like breaking the game. In the game, and we did so much of Street Fighter 4 in that time of age too, that we can break Street Fighter 5 relatively soon. The thing that I want is I want more players, and I want more top players losing to these new players. There's no reason why the new player always has to be intimidated. You know, like you're a new player because you like the game. You know.
So what makes you good at Street Fighter 5? Because it's not being able to do things. It's not being able to execute stuff because they've arbitrarily reduced that level down. So, like you said, new players can learn to do most of the stuff in Street Fighter 5 in the space of a couple of weeks, realistically.
I mean, don't you think that like in Street Fighter 5, it's really realistic to say that like there's gonna be a very strong like above average player base, and those well, maybe not above average. Oh, what's above average? Let's just say like lower tier top players. Okay, like lower tier top players. There's gonna be a lot of those players, and then those players. Because Street Fighter 4 is just like Infiltration, CN, and a lot of other people, right? And a lot of people can't even touch those guys. I want these like bottom tier, low top players. I want more of those guys to beat the very top echelon. You know,
top players don't like that.
Fuck it. No.
And it's exciting. We like that. We like that as viewers. But top players don't like that. Top players don't like being beaten by people that they know are not better than them, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Like
in everything.
If I was to play you in a first to 10, I'd definitely win. Like, cool. The thing with Street Fighter 5, and this was what my point was, is that it seems to me that because you can get so much damage in a short period of time, because there's not a lot of actual reads going on because the situation resets so often.
Yeah.
Because it's like so fundamental based of zoning and spacing and what have you. Like, you can make one bad guess and lose because of that. And
kind of.
How are people gonna? I mean, there's ways to mitigate it. Of course, there's ways to mitigate, but you know, like you can go for a throw and someone just does critical art and you lose 50% of your bar.
Yeah,
I mean, and that can happen.
I mean, do you get a counter hit for missing a super? I just thought about that.
For missing a super, no, because you just burn 3 bars.
But that's gonna be kind of rare though, because meter is pretty important in that game. You know, like most supers are done by comboing into them. I've seen a bunch of like critical art, animations. So I don't really see wake up super being all that often.
It's there, like you know. I don't know. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as doing wake up DP into ultra. You know, where the DP's 3 frames and the ultra does a shit ton of damage, and it used to be safe as well. So fuck it, let me just do it. But I'm just brainstorming because I know people don't like losing to people that they know are not better players than them. Yeah, and if
I
you
definitely
play
feel that way.
if you play a game that's read based and it's short sets and there's a lot of damage, then there's a big risk of losing to someone that's not better than you because they made a read. So does that mean then that being good at Street Fighter 5 means you make the best reads? Does that mean that you are able to play in a way in which you don't ever have to make reads because you're just playing this safe zoning style? And maybe that's why Nash is so good, because Nash kind of plays in a way in that you're playing Street Fighter with Nash, right? You're controlling horizontally with the sonic booms, and if they jump at you, you're anti-airing, and if they try and walk forward, then you backfist them or you use the step kick or whatever you're doing. And you're just playing a real solid Street Fighter style with him, and you're really mitigating your risk. And if you do get knocked down and they do pressure you or whatever, you've got your V trigger, which is like a free get out of jail card, and you reset the situation again to go back into that safe Street Fighter style of play.
His V trigger's not throwable?
No.
Okay.
It's invincible and you can't throw it.
Final build. Let's see what's up in the final build. Surely they would fix that.
No, that's how it is in the final build as well. So yeah. So that's, I think, why Nash is a good character, because he allows you to play in a style which mitigates risk, and I think mitigating risk is going to be a big factor in Street Fighter 5. I think players that are just able to press one button in footsies, like Birdie, like Cammy, and they're quite difficult to whiff punish as well, because buttons that have got good range are generally slow, and whiff punishing you don't really get a ton of damage from at the moment. There's no to go back to my own frame of reference, there's no sort of character that's got Dudley standing roundhouse into EX machine gun blow for a corner carry if you ever whiff anything ever. So yeah,
you're right.
It's an interesting situation, and I'm looking forward to what happens.
Well, I mean, let's just close off the topic on this one, but basically, you're right about there's not a lot of high damaging whiff punishes, but the other day I saw Nakali do a crouching media punch to, I think, Birdie's stand medium kick, and therefore, I mean, there's a critical art involved. There's no stand roundhouse and then whatever Dudley's move is. I would want more of those, and I think Capcom's probably staying away from that since the absence of them being even in the game. That probably means that they're staying away from it,
Well, I know you wanted to round off, but I mentioned this on Twitter the other day. There's notable missing character archetypes in this game as well. So there's no actual Rekka characters. I know Karin was a Rekka character, but she's not really a Rekka character in this game. There's no Rekka characters in this game that you can.
But I mean, that's like saying. I mean, are Rekkas so important to have an archetype for them? I mean,
there's characters that are kind of built around that sort of thing, that makes up.
Zoning. So then zoning, is that what you're looking for?
There's no dive kick characters in this game, actual proper dive kick. There's characters that have dive kicks, but there's no characters whose build is around dive kick pressure. They don't exist in this game either, and that's notable also.
That's definitely true.
Are there proper zoning characters in this game? Because Dalsim seems to be a rushdown character from where I'm watching F-Champ and Arturo play him.
I think zoning is more towards I would say Ryu, Nash.
Nash seems like a straightforward
fireball. Zoning probably meant to the producers fireball uppercut, and Dalsim's missing a lot of key fundamental moves that he had in the beginning. Therefore, he has to be a little bit different. So it's hard to say that he's a Zony character. I mean, obviously he doesn't want no one near him. Yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking zoning more towards Ryu, fireball uppercut, Ken, Chun-Li.
It'd be interesting to see what Fang's like, because he's got sort of long range normals. How do they work? How does his character archetype work? But there's no
He's not as dumb looking as I initially thought. He's all right. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything. I've only seen the trailer and that footage of Comofine beating Mike Ross yet again. Seems like that's the theme. That's the gimmick. Comofine steps in there and he's like, "Let me show you a bunch of these things," and then Mike just lose, man. It's all good.
Eats it all. Comafin seems to like that. He seems to enjoy that a bit too much.
People need to remember that he's a good player.
Beating people with stuff that they've got no idea what the hell's going on. He seems to really enjoy that.
No comment. Yes.
But yeah, I've been really. I mean, if you guys haven't watched the Mad Catz V Cup, the VOD should be up on Twitch and probably YouTube by the time this all comes out as well. So check it out. Some really high level Street Fighter 5 play there from people that have been putting some work into the game, shall we say? But yeah, congratulations to LPN on his win, and we'll see you guys at the next tournament, I'm sure.